Gedman and Cara Durant.
Dangerous precedent.
Carrie Kenny Silver. Randall Park. Jake Shane. Maya Hawk, everybody. Last but not least, producer and star Lewis Coleman.
Y'all, congratulations. Yes, show some love.
I think we've got a weird little half moon here going.
It works now.
Working great. We all really want. Okay, good.
Congratulations, y'all. Graham, the film is brilliant.
Thank you.
And really makes you feel a lot of things. You have this couple's emotions literally reshaping the world outside. Where did that central idea first come from, and how did it evolve into the story that you told today?
Yeah, I mean, I was always looking for something to do with Lewis. Looking for, and as I said, Chris and Ollie, Lewis was early on in this and developing different things. But I think I was up one night on like a YouTube rabbit hole. I came across the Secret. It's on Oprah. What's her? I can't even remember her name. You know, The Secret, and it's really like the foundational text of manifesting. Everyone talks about manifesting now. It all started with The Secret, and I was sort of. It's good. You guys should watch it. It's ridiculous. But I don't believe in it. Just so everyone knows. I mean, not necessarily. But I was struck by. They were talking about this idea that if you're in a bad mood, if you're in a good mood, you could like get a parking spot and the weather will be better. And if you get in a bad mood, you won't get parking and a plane crash could happen. And I thought, as somebody who's suffers from some anxiety day to day, it was funny to me that they were saying that's like this really uplifting thing. But to me, I was like, that sort of sounds like a nightmare. The idea that if I'm in a bad mood, I don't have to just worry about myself, I have to worry about the entire world might be on my back. And I just sort of taking that idea, it doesn't sound funny when I pitch it, but to me it made me laugh. And it sort of was something I just sort of was, I couldn't figure out what it was. And then, I thought about doing it with a couple. I was sort of a relationship was sort of ending at the time, and I suddenly thought about, what if it's a couple? And suddenly, if they're doing well, the world's doing well. And suddenly it was like, okay, not only is it funny, I kind of saw all three acts. And I called Lewis, like instantly, and Chris Ripley, I remember, and I kind of pitched it. And I remember you being like, yeah. We were just like, okay. And it was one of those things, it kind of just made sense. And that's where the writing of it came from.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah.
For the magic rules in the film, how did you decide to set them, and did you stick to them?
It's funny, if you go watch The Secret, the rules, there's not really rules, which is part of it. And I think that I sort of lean on the fuzzy rules of this stuff, but we all understand, because we have it on our TikToks, and we know what sort of this self-help culture is, that it doesn't really have like clear rules. And I think that was another thing that I was like, oh great, I can kind of get away with whatever. So I didn't overthink about the rules, and I feel like we as a team kind of, one rule that was like, it's the things they desire versus things that they fear. And that was really clear. It's not just good things and bad things. It's things that they want and things they don't want. And that rule was important to establish, because it was like, you might manifest something like your ex coming back in your life that you don't want to want, but you want it. And so that was an interesting little caveat that we kind of happened upon.
Thank you.
Yeah.
For Lewis and Maya, y'all's performances were really vulnerable, really beautiful. Thank you. What was something that y'all learned about yourselves from collaborating together on this project?
I will say that I guess my first instinct of how to answer that question is that I am not a person who's super good about anger. You know, like it very quickly turns from, in my own emotional life, from I'm mad at you to I hate myself. You know, like just like so fast. Like the plane goes so fast there, and it was really fun to play a character who has access to their anger, and lets it be used like a, you know, superpower against somebody else and not just against themselves. And I think that was a big deal for me emotionally, trying to playing this part. And that was really fun. And then I also just like, I don't know, there was a lot of cool, weird emotional territory of things I learned about where like, I remember when we were shooting the scene where things went the worst, where we were like making the stock go down, I was having the best time that I think I'd had in years. You know, I was just like, wait, I feel like we're doing great right now. You know, and I was wrong, and Graham was right, and watching it, that becomes more and more clear. So I think it's just the way that the movie negotiates and emotions and connection and what's healthy and what's unhealthy is really deep, and it was really fun for me to explore that. And Lewis is the best actor. That's it. He's so funny and he's so free and he's like a wild animal. And I used to say that my favorite people to act with were babies and really old people, because they were like just so in it, you know, like who can tell the difference between movies, and you're like, but Lewis is like that. So, you know, that's cool. They made one hot. So, I don't know. There's my answer.
You really just put that question, took it a whole different.
Don't ask me to go first.
I'm gonna bring you around everywhere. I think, you know, this is such a low budget indie, and so.
Don't tell people that.
No, they should know.
Big budget, big movie, big feelings, big movie.
No, they should know that this was like everyone, you know, for their scraps and doing it for the thing, and
Lewis
so,
wants you to know he didn't get paid.
Jesus, I went from looking really good to really bad. Thank you. No. So point being is like there's all these grandiose themes and things that they're dealing with that are huge and macro and universal, and we don't see any of that. We don't see the earthquakes. We don't see anything. We see screens that have little green stickers on them and that are supposed to be saying there's an earthquake or John Hamm's died. And so all we really had was like the conviction and the agreement to be in the sandbox together. And Maya is like truly, her imagination is like an unlimited well. And so all you have to do in that circumstance is just believe what she's believing. And that like, and then Graham coming in, who's already been the god tier, fucking awesome master that we all bow down to, comes in with, he's been drenched in it and stooping in it for so long. So then he can help us kind of like zoom in, zoom out, zoom in, zoom out. Because it is all this fly on the wall stuff of this very universal, beautiful, esoteric shit. And so that is what I learned on this one. Is like as long as there's an agreement with eyes and soul, and that's really pretentious now. I was really about to land it good.
You're landing it.
That's what I learned. That's what I learned. I would love to end that right now.
For our producers and cast, what drew you to the film?
When I first read this script, I was just blown away. And
Am I going?
Yeah, Karen.
Oh, hi, hello. I was brought in by Lewis, and Lewis and I made a movie together called Starling Girl, and he called me. And he was like, you have to meet my friend. And I think I said no. I was busy.
You played it so cool. She was like, "That sounds cool, interesting. Just date around and then come back and see if you still like the idea of working with me." Graham and I were like, "We don't want to date around. We love you."
I only said no because I was busy, but I had known Graham. I had short at the same time as Graham. We were all in the same world making movies together. And Lewis called me and he told me the pitch, and I remember both of them just being like, wouldn't it be fun? Like, let's go make a fun movie. And then truly, I think every single person who did it said yes so quickly. It was kind of one of those movies that was very magical. It happened so fast. I felt like it happened very fast. I know it didn't in Graham's life, but like in the scheme of the movie, it really amped up so quickly, and every single person saying yes, I'm in. I mean, literally, Jake. We were talking about this today.
I didn't read the script. Before I said yes.
Jake did not read the script. Lewis texted Jake and he was like, yes. And Lewis was like, he's in. I'm like, we haven't sent him the script, Lewis. Like, how is he in?
I was down for it.
And we got Maya was literally Maya was like, who was written for? Like, we literally, Graham, I remember in our first meeting, we said, like, who is in your mind? And like, Maya was one of the first names that came out of his mouth, and then she said yes, which is crazy. So it all happened so organically, and truly it was one of those movies. I just remember talking to Graham, and I was like, why do you want to make it? And it was just such a movie that has so much fun, but there was such a deeper meaning under it, and there's kind of so much heart and love underneath the silliness. And I think that's just like the exact kind of movie that should be made right now.
We're gonna open it to audience questions. Right there.
So I've been following Graham's work for a while, short films and awesome stuff, man.
Thank you.
My question was, how did you and Lewis get, connected in the first place? You guys have been working together for a while.
We met in high school, different high schools.
Prom night. No.
Prom night.
No joke. I stole his date. I stole him.
Oh my heart.
Jesus Christ. I stole him from his date.
That's true.
That's true. That's true.
And he continues to do that. Yeah, sort of a love at first sight situation. Yeah. My girlfriend at the time went to your school, and I remember going and seeing you at, you guys did Franny, an onstage version of Franny and Zoe. And I remember before I even met you, she was like, I'm doing it with Lewis, and she was like, he never remembers his lines, and he comes so unprepared, and I have my lines perfect, but he's fucking so good. And she was like so mad. She was like, I work so hard, but he's good for some reason. I remember being like, ah. And then I
Little
started
learning disabilities.
But it's true, I saw him and I was like, oh shit, she's right.
Can I just butt in and say, I've known these guys now a couple years, and we're all very good friends. The love that you saw on screen compares to nothing of the love of these two. The love runs so deep. Literally, the amount of times in an edit or a casting or any conversation, we all have to be like, guys, we're in the room, we're here. Hello. I just want to say that out loud. It's a very deep love, so.
But I will say, on the contrary, that's true. But I've worked on things. Well, I was just gonna say, I've worked on things with guys who had like a bromance that was very exclusionary, and this one wasn't. The love was very clear, but it never felt like you're not a part of this. It was extremely welcoming and incorporating, and it was like a love everyone got to be a part of and feel energized by. At least the everyone that is me.
And I had the same thing our first call when I was like, we're gonna be fine. When I was like, it fit right in. You like all spoke the same language.
She's not gonna let us box her out.
Yeah, exactly.
Too annoying.
Y'all, thank you so much for being here.
for having us.
Congratulations. Thank you all for being here. Before we go, remember to vote for the Oh, grab my word.
Sorry, I just wanted the entire crew who worked on this movie to stand up. We have a lot of crew in the audience. We're all here. Thank you guys so much. You guys are amazing. The best crew. Stay tuned.